This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Guess who's back? Tori. It's Wednesday, April 29th. I'm Tori, all by myself in the studio, but I have my two girls, Stephanie Jones and Erica Cobb. My girl squad is here. Oh, we're all in green. It's like an ocean of beauty. That's a good one.
What is up with these coincidences?
I know.
We don't even see each other. We're just getting dressed in the morning.
The vibe is out there. I guess Steph is in a blue, but still in that kind of aquatic vein. Steph, look, you feeling good today?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm really excited that it's an all-girl panel.
Woo woo! Whenever I do that, in the middle of my first woo, I'm like, stop doing that. Like, I immediately wish I hadn't done that. All right, let's move on.
You're a woo girl. It's okay.
It's not good. Movie theater chain AMC, you've all heard of it, is taking a stand against Universal Pictures, saying it's going to ban their films. The feud ignited when Universal decided to stream Trolls World Tour after the pandemic made it impossible to show the film in theaters. Well, guess what? It was a hit. The movie made more than $100 million. But now Universal execs say that if and when theaters reopen, they plan to release their movies on both formats at the same time. Meanwhile, for the first time ever, the Academy says films that only came out on streaming and not in theaters will now be eligible for the 2021 Oscars. This breaks a long-standing rule, and I think a little uppity rule in my opinion, that required nominated movies to be released into theaters. First of all, thank God that's gone, because a lot of cool people with iPhones have great ideas. Do you miss the theater experience, Erica Cobb, the butter, the smell, maybe the sticky floor?
Honestly, Tori, this breaks my heart for movie theaters in general, because I think that, I think about times when I was younger and how much that was a part of my life. But the reality is, based on my schedule now, I haven't been to a movie theater in, I want to say, at least 5 years. It's just not really my thing. And I think we're going to hear this phrase a lot. The cheese has been moved, and when the cheese gets moved, then you are forced to meet people where they are, and where they are is at home streaming.
You know, The Cheese Has Been Moved it's about a book, right? The cheese, moving the cheese. Who moved the cheese? I love that book. I highly recommend it. Steph, when's the last time you went to the theater? Are you a theater gal?
Oh yeah, I adore it. I love being immersed in an experience, and you just don't get that experience at home. No matter how big your TV is, or no matter what sound bar you've got, it's not the same. I understand, obviously, now due to what's happened with the pandemic, people might not want to be surrounded by people that they don't know in such an enclosed space, and I totally understand that and respect it. But it does make me feel really sad, because I'm such a movie goer. I go all the time. I go on my own often if there's something that I want to see. So yeah, this makes me feel really sad, but I'm glad that the Academy has changed their rules, because like you said, it's very outdated, it's very antiquated. You had to have your movie shown specifically in an LA theater for at least a week. And I mean, that criteria is so hard to achieve, and like you said, there's so many amazing directors out there that are showing across multiple different platforms that also deserve to be recognized.
Totally agree with you. Storytelling. I also agree with you. I was a theater girl, but I ended up being more like Erica, because I didn't want to spend $2 million every time I went to go see a movie. Moving on, we got some big news. Have you not heard? Gigi Hadid has some big news. The 25-year-old model and Zayn Malik are reportedly having a baby. According to TMZ, Gigi is having a girl and is around 20 weeks pregnant, meaning she would be due around September. Gigi and the One Direction singer apparently rekindled their relationship in December. The pair first dated back in 2015, but broke it off 3 years later. Gigi was most recently linked to former Bachelorette contestant Tyler Cameron. But to be honest, who hasn't been connected to Tyler Cameron? The two split last fall. Stephanie, are you shocked by this, the Gigi Hadid?
Gigi. Well, I've got to say, it's quite the way to celebrate your 25th birthday, which was her birthday just yesterday. So this is a lovely birthday surprise. Although she's known for quite some time, so she's about the same. She's at about the same part of her pregnancy that my sister is. She's also around 20 weeks, which means she'd have fell pregnant at the very end of December, start of January time, which means very shortly after reconciling with Zayn that they fell pregnant. So, I mean, they have had a very much of a roller coaster relationship. It's been all over the press, and I just wish them the best, because I believe she's spoken very honestly about reasons why they have had such a tough time, and that's down to Zayn's mental health and some of the things that he's been going through. So I'm hoping, you know, he's in a much better place, and this could be, you know, a fantastic thing for them. Yeah,
that zany couple. I think that was good with Zayn. Okay, Erica, I got to hear about this one. Is being in quarantine good for your sex life? I make that even unsexy. According to some celebrities, the answer is, oh yeah. Kate Hudson recently spilled the tea on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. When asked whether quarantine has had a positive effect on her sex life, Kate sipped from her glass of wine and said, yeah, with a laugh. Her brother, Oliver Hudson, was also on the show with her, a little awkward. Kate has been dating musician Danny Fujikawa since 2016, and they have a baby girl together. And Mario Lopez says he and his wife have been keeping busy in quarantine, if you know what I mean. Sexy time. The Access Hollywood host joked that he wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get another baby out of this. Mario already has 3 kids, ages 9 to 9 months. Good Lord. All right, Erica, spill the tea. Is quarantine or lockdown good for your sex life?
It better be. This makes a lot of sense that celebrities would be saying they're having more sex when they're in quarantine, especially the ones who are speaking up who have been married or long-term relationships. I mean, you have to consider how much traveling, I mean, even I and my husband were doing for work or for other obligations. And now when you're in the same home for this amount of time, yeah, there should be an increase. If there isn't an increase, then there might be something wrong.
Oh, wow. Dr. Cobb speaking. I got to be honest. Once you're cooking with candlelight and there's some wine and you're watching movies, it is gotten to be very romantic. It's almost like date night every night. So I also have been enjoying the lockdown. Yeah, we're going to move on.
Well, good for you, Tori.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that, but Dr. Cobb is my mama.
I know. I was going to say, is your mother going to be like, that was me? That is I. That's very true. She deserves that doctor title. Well, Melissa McCarthy seems to be getting some sleep in quarantine, not sex. She recently posted a video about a dream she had. Take a look.
Mark Wahlberg lived with us. It wasn't weird or anything. It wasn't like sister wivesy or creepy. I was just like, hey, Mark, you want like a ham and cheese sandwich? And he would always say, like, no, I'll just have chicken breasts.
Those glasses are everything. The actress and her husband, Ben Falcone, recently appeared on Ellen and spoke about the Mark Wahlberg quarantine dream. Ellen then had a little surprise for them. So let's take a look.
Oh, hey. I was actually just having to be vacuuming now. Oh, I'm just in my robe doing all my daily duties here. You know, I have to make sure that whatever is required around the house, you know, I could be building a deck in the back, changing out old wiring for fiber optics.
Wow, that's hilarious. Woo! Stephanie, who would be your ideal quarantine house guest or your lockdown house guest?
It's a really tough question, Tori, because there's so many people out there, but I've got to say I've got the hots for George Clooney, and I know he's married, but you know, it wouldn't be too much of an eyesore having him make my coffee for me in the morning, I've got to say.
God, his like Nespresso ad, when he does that, I'm like, he's making that for me. To be super honest with you, I would take Amal Clooney. I would take the wife, the human rights attorney, all day long and have some chat. Erica, who would be your ideal quarantine house guest?
You know, I've actually thought about this prior. It would be friend of the show, Lauren Mack, because every time I go to certain, like, I turn around, look at my house, I'm like, I think I need a plant there. Now, Lauren Mack is the do-it-yourself, like, design on a dime. She will hook your house up and make it look spectacular on the low, and I need her right now. I really, really do.
But you have an eye. First of all, Lauren Mack is fantastic, but you have at least you have an eye for what you want to see. I'm just like, do I just like close this door and never open again? That's where I am in my designer. Steph and Erica, do not go away, because Erica, coming up on DBL, you are telling us all about your experience co-hosting with T.I. on his podcast. That is such a cool experience. And then later, you won't believe what Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary is doing in quarantine and why he says there's plenty of opportunity to make some money after all this is over. And as we go to break, I just want to thank my DBL coworkers who are putting the show together literally from home, with some Bisquick and some help and some hope. Stay safe, everyone. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
People used to.
In an uncertain world and uncertain times, DBL is a place to come for hope.
But we have to remember this time and learn from this, right?
We're telling stories of the human spirit.
Now I feel empowered.
Stories with heart.
Everybody's cheering for healthcare providers.
Because that's how important this is.
And we will never lose our sense of humor.
I made a charcuterie plate for myself.
This May, spend your days with DBL. We are all in this together. I'm so proud of this show, and I'm so happy we have a great relationship with the DBL Nation. Although maybe you guys don't like me, I'm always going to like you. It's a codependency thing. Well, whether it's a prime investment or primetime TV, Kevin O'Leary does business like nobody's business. Earlier, Lindsay Granger had a chance to sit down with Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful himself in today's wonderful Chatting with the Stars.
So, Mr. Wonderful, you know if we were in person, I would have brought you some of your favorite Albanese gummy bears, but unfortunately, we're all on lockdown. So I have to ask you, what does quarantine look like for you?
It's a really crazy day. I get up at 4 in the morning sometimes. I had to bring an exercise bike into my condo here in Miami because they've closed the gym down, and I just start cycling and watching European news. It's crazy.
Now, not a lot of people know this about you, but you play a mean guitar. So is there any way you're in there working on an album?
I actually was laying down some soundtracks for a Gus Werner interview I'm doing on YouTube this Wednesday, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I have a studio here too.
Nice. I want to check it out. So coronavirus has wreaked havoc on small businesses, and you know all about this. So how can they adapt to this new normal, in your opinion?
The key to success, because I've got over 50 companies dealing with this problem now, is communicate with your employees, but also communicate with your customers. It's hard to acquire new customers, but you can certainly reach out to ones that have been using your product or services and tell them how things are going. And what I think really matters these days is don't anybody. Tell everybody the truth. Give them the good, the bad, and the ugly. They appreciate it. They want to know the facts. They don't want to be BS'd. And the companies that are doing really well are saying, look, help us.
A lot of people are saying the coronavirus has crippled the economy. What do you say about your approach to investing? Are you still investing?
I am, actually. I think America is going to come out of this thing in the next 2 years far more efficient and productive than we've ever been. And I'll tell you why. All of my companies are operating remotely, just like you and I are right now, and we're learning how to do it. And the technology is so much better than it was even 5 years ago that I think I can cut my office space by 20% when this is over. But I think 20% of the population is going to say, I don't need to go back downtown. Let me live at home and let me work. And I think that's going to be a much more efficient way to do it.
So what does that mean for Shark Tank? How are you guys social distancing and still going to have the show?
You know, we've been talking about that every day. Right now, we're scheduled to go back into the studio, probably at the end of the summer. We've got hundreds of thousands of ideas trying to solve the new normal. What's so cool about this is that there's all these new companies emerging saying, look, I know how to social distance. I know how to do a restaurant a different way. All of these ideas, that's what's so great about entrepreneurs. They emerge with new stuff.
And as we know, all the sharks have different attitudes. You know, it's not always calm water. So who would you say has the biggest bite out of all the sharks?
Well, look, the guy I like working with the best is Mr. Wonderful. He's the shark that you should do your deal with. And I work with him all the time. He's great. Now, Barbara, on the other hand, the only reason she gets to the set on time is I bought her a new broom last year. So, you know, we all get along. What can I say?
I don't even like Kevin.
He hates that.
Now, let me ask you, are you still getting dressed up from home? You still putting on your watches and having fun with it?
Red band, baby. Red band watches, new watch every day, sometimes 3 different watches. You know, at noon I'll put on a different one. I kind of rotate. I live in Japanese fishing pants. That's what I got on right here, Japanese fishing pants. I don't know if you can see them. There they are.
Nice. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I have on UGG slippers, so I think we're equal. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, I'll bring you those gummy bears next time I see you. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Keep investing. Keep showing us all the way. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
The sun used to make our outdoor
Welcome back to DBL. I want to share something that our very own Erica Cobb got to be a part of. So she was a guest host on rapper T.I.'s podcast. Woo! Erica spoke beautifully about the cultural effects of COVID-19, and I'm going to talk with her all about it in just a minute. But first, let's check out some of the highlights.
When we say this homogenized Black community, let's please at least acknowledge that we are as diverse and as complex as any other community. And therefore, our underlying beliefs and ideologies may be different. I like to say even Wakanda had diversity. So what is that telling you? We have 4 Black hosts out of 8 on our show Daily Blast Live, which is incredible, by the way. Generally, there's just one. Point of view is just what I've done all my professional life for the past 20 years. Now we have another African-American female on the show. Her name's Lindsay Granger, and her background is in journalism.
I just think that, you know, you represent so many of us, and, you know, speaking from a Black woman's perspective, you guys are the most successful, the most educated, the most brilliant, capable beings in the world. I just want to say thank you.
Whoa! Hello, Erica. I am so proud to work with you. What was that like to work with T.I.? You've done radio, you've spoken to all the big guys, but what was that interesting to share with him, your thoughts and with his audience?
Yeah, you know, this is the 3rd time I've sat down with T.I. over the course of, I guess, the past, like, 12 years. Generally, it would be on my morning radio show where we were talking about, you know, his album and, like, what was happening in the world. So when this opportunity came around for me to be on his show to talk about things that really matter in the Black community, abroad, the broad spectrum of the Black community, I just really hopped at that chance because, you know, there's so much information that's out there right now, especially about COVID and how this is affecting Black people, and getting a diverse perspective, even coming from 2 different Black people, was just such a pleasure, and I was just really, really proud to be able to do that.
The Wakanda, even Wakanda is diverse, is like, I know that's like really funny, but it's also so true. Is it hard to tell or explain to people we're not all one thing? Is that hard to get?
Well, it is, because historically speaking, we've been shown as a very homogenized community. We always say the Black community. And I know that you've been in the room when Al and I talk about GPSing your way to where is this Black community. You know, in order to really assess the need, we have to say that there are diverse needs.
Wow, Wakanda forever. First of all, great interview. Amazing. You can watch the whole episode of Erica co-hosting with T.I. online right now. Just head over to T.I.'s podcast YouTube channel. It's called Expeditiously with Tip T.I. Harris. We'll be right back. Great job, Erica.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
DBL, while you're in quarantine, now is the time to tackle those home improvement projects you've been putting off. And Big Jeff has some big tips to save you time and money in this DBL home hack presented by American Home Shield.
What's up, guys? Sorry if it's hard to hear me. The wind's whipping through here, but during quarantine, I've been spending a lot of time doing home improvement projects, and this is one of my latest, hanging up string lights on my balcony, both above and below. Sometimes the measurement doesn't really work out, so what I did on my end, bring the camera a little closer. What I did was hang this hook up here, the same one I used for all the other lights, tied a little fishing string on here, and I made it like that, so when it comes out, they're all on fishing string, but if you look at the whole thing, you could never tell. All right, guys, so if you're looking for an easy and inexpensive way to put a little light in your backyard, this is a great project. I suggest you guys trying it at home. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
It looked like Jeff had all these ideas because of the light bulbs. Steph, are you doing anything with your home? Everyone loves your background. What are those pills? I love those things.
Yeah, they're like an artist called Damien Hirst. They're a bit dark and quirky, but you know, I like them. But I really am trying to make the most of my little balcony space because I don't have a garden, and I know that that's why Jeff is so excited because he just left his apartment to put up his lights. So maybe I'll copy his idea, Tori.
Twinkle lights for everyone. Thank you, Erica and Stephanie. Reminder, we're always on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.